Hello again, everybody. So this activity, we're going to use some paper, a marker, a pencil, some tape, and some scissors, and we're going to create something that is called a Möbius strip. So a Möbius strip is a mathematical term for a looped surface that only has one side and one edge. So we will talk a little bit more about it as we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper, and as I was creating a couple of these earlier, I made a smaller one, which in my directions it says about 6 inches. So this one was 6 inches. So it kind of looks like it's twisted, which it is. So it's just a strip of paper that has a half twist in it. And as I was making it, it was a little difficult to kind of do some of the things we're going to do with it. So then I made a bigger one. And I feel like the bigger one actually was a little bit easier for me to work with. So I'm going to go against my written directions here, and I'm going to make a longer one this time. So I'm just going to take my piece of paper, and I'm going to cut about 1 inch or 1.5 inches wide. You don't need to measure anything, just kind of eyeball it. And I'm just going to cut, so this one's actually going to be almost double of what I put in the directions. This is an 11-inch strip of paper, about 1 inch or so wide. So the next part you could do, and if you make more than one of these, you may not need to letter it. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put letters on it, because it just might help you to line everything up, because it does take a little bit of tweaking just to get this twist right, to get it together. So we're going to label each one of our corners with a letter. So we're just going to use A, B, C, and D. So in the top left, I'm going to put an A. In the top right, I'm going to put a letter B. Bottom left, a C. And bottom right, a D. So we have A, B, C, and D. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use those letters so that when we twist it, we have the twist in correctly. And it doesn't matter how big you write these letters. That really doesn't make a difference as to getting this to work. So we're going to twist one side, and if I turn it, we're going to twist the AC side a half a turn. And sometimes I have to think a second here. And I'm going to line up the A with the D and the B with the C. So I took it and I just made a half turn. Now, if you notice, the pencil, the A and the C is on top here, but the B and D is on the bottom here. So that's what you want. At first I was trying to do it like this, but that's too much. We're going to want it like this, okay? Then I'm just going to take 2 pieces of tape, and I actually tape mine on both sides, because you're going to use a pencil to demonstrate how this actually, or why this actually is only, they say it's only one-sided. So you can see it has a loop, and now it's together with the tape on both sides. So now you just made a Möbius strip. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just to experiment to see about this this loop that has only one surface. We're going to take a pencil, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the paper, and I'm going to pull the paper towards me. And I'm not going to lift up my pencil. And I'm not sure how well the camera's getting all of this. I'll try and turn it a little. And I'm just going to keep pulling it. And the paper is going to keep looping and twisting. Sometimes you might have to just kind of help it along a little bit. But I didn't lift up my pencil this whole time. See, and I have to sometimes help it. So the bigger the paper, it was a little bit easier for me to do. The smaller one, I had to keep twisting it. This one wasn't too bad. So now I've come back. I'm going to show you to the beginning. I did not lift up my pencil, and I'm back where I started from. So when you take your pencil away and you kind of observe and look at this strip, if you notice, there is a pencil line on both sides of the paper. So on this side and on this side, and it literally goes around the whole thing. And I didn't lift it up, which is weird, because when you think it should only be on one side. But that's the whole wow factor, I guess you could say, about a Möbius strip. It only has one side, because I didn't lift this up. I didn't draw one on the inside and then lift it up and draw one on the outside. It was one continuous loop, so it does only have one side. So another way you can kind of experiment with this, I'm going to put a piece of paper underneath here. It's kind of do the same thing, but we're going to color the edge with a marker. Now I tried this before, and just like the pencil, you're supposed to hold your marker at the edge and pull it through without lifting up the marker. I kind of had a hard time with it. The pencil was easy because you're kind of in the middle of the strip of paper, so it's easy to pull it. When you're on the edge, it doesn't work as easy. At least it didn't for me. Maybe it'll work a little better for you. But it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to try to not lift up my marker and kind of pull it. But again, it doesn't work as well. And I'm going to keep it on the edge. And you might have to help it along here. Like I said, it is a piece of paper. It's only so pliable. So if you have to lift up your marker, I would say just pick up where you left off. And mine is getting a little crazy here on me. So I'm just going to continue my line, and I'm going to adjust my paper as I go. I know I'm lifting up my marker, but I'm struggling a little bit here, but that's okay. I'm going to keep moving on here, keep plugging away. So as you can see, I'm going to come back to where I started from. So same idea as using the pencil in the middle, except this demonstrates, both edges are colored. And I know I lifted it up. However, I just continued the same line. So it goes to show that this Möbius strip only has one edge. Now, sometimes people call it the magic circle. It's named after a German mathematician. And you might think, well, where would we ever use something like this? But there are a few different applications for something like this. They use it in conveyor belts. So as a conveyor belt moves things down a line, it's only wearing out on one side because you're only putting objects on one side, and then the bottom side of it's like brand new. So they can do this, a Möbius strip type of conveyor belt. Well, it has a loop in it somewhere, and as it's moving, you end up using both sides of the rubber or whatever material it is that uses the conveyor belt. So you're getting a longer life out of it. And in the end, these companies are going to save some money because they're going to get twice as much use out of the same strip of material that their conveyor belt is made out of. There was a couple other things I found where they could use it. I could think of some. I know there was a couple other ones where they use it from. Recording tapes. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. So when they have to use tapes to be recorded, if they use both sides of a tape, they get double the life out of it or double the playing time. They also use it in computer printer, like typewriter ribbons, where you can use ink and access ink on both sides, so you get double the life out of it. So lots of different things. There's a couple of art forms. If you ever heard of MC Escher, he's pretty famous and well known for tessellations, but he also made some pretty famous artwork that pertains to Möbius strips. So have fun with this one. And again, when you make this, I feel like the longer the paper, the little bit easier it is to manipulate. And you can put more than one twist in it. It'll still work the same. You can have it as big or as small as you want, and it still works the same. So have fun with your Möbius strip.